The priests, taught by Hermes, embodied in books the occult and hermetic sciences, with their own discoveries and the revelations of the Sibyls. They studied particularly the most abstract sciences, discovered the famous geometrical theorems, which Pythagoras afterwards learned from them, calculated eclipses, and regulated, 19 centuries before Caesar, the Julian year. They descended to practical investigations, as to the necessities of life, and made known their discoveries to the people. They cultivated the fine arts, and inspired the people with that enthusiasm which produced the avenues of Thebes, the labyrinth, the temples of Karnak, Dendera, Edfan, and Philio, the monolithic obelisks, and the great lake Meros, the fertilizer of the country. The wisdom of the Egyptian initiates, the high sciences and lofty morality which they taught, and their immense knowledge, excited the emulation of the most eminent men, whatever their rank and fortune, and led them, despite the complicated and terrible trials to be undergone, to seek admission into the mysteries of Osiris and Isis. From Egypt, the mysteries went to Phoenicia, and were celebrated at Tyre. Osiris changed his name, and became Adni or Dionysos, still the representative of the sun, and afterwards these mysteries were introduced successively into Assyria, Babylon, Persia, Greece, Sicily, and Italy. Greece and Sicily, Osiris took the name of Bacchus, and Isis that of Ceres, Cybele, Rhea and Venus. Bar Hebrews says, Enoch was the first who invented books, and different sorts of writing. The ancient Greeks declare that Enoch is the same as Mercury Trismegistus, Hermes, and that he taught the eons of men the art of building cities, and enacted some admirable laws. He discovered the knowledge of the zodiac, and the course of the planets, and he pointed out to the sons of men, that they should worship God, that they should fast, that they should pray, that they should give alms, votive offerings and tenths. He reprobated abominable foods, and drunkenness, and appointed festivals for sacrifices to the sun, at each of the zodiacal signs. Mantha extracted his history from certain pillars, which he discovered in Egypt, whereon inscriptions had been made by Thoth, or the first Mercury, or Hermes, in the sacred letters and dialect, but which were after the flood, translated from that dialect into the Greek tongue, and laid up in the private recesses of the Egyptian temples. These pillars were found in subterranean caverns, near Thebes and beyond the Nile, not far from the sounding statue of Memnon, in a place called Syringes, which are described to be certain winding apartments underground, made, it is said, by those who were skilled in ancient rites, who, foreseeing the coming of the deluge, and fearing lest the memory of their ceremonies should be obliterated, built and contrived vaults, dug with vast labor, in several places. From the bosom of Egypt sprang a man of consummate wisdom, initiated in the secret knowledge of India, of Persia, and of Ethiopia, named Thoth, author, by his compatriots, to Ort, by the Phoenicians, Hermes Trismegistus, by the Greeks, and Adris, by the Rabbins. Nature seemed to have chosen him for bar favorite, and to have lavished on him all the qualities necessary to enable him to study lyre and to know her thoroughly. The deity had, so to say, infused into him the sciences and the arts, in order that he might instruct the whole world. The two columns at the entrance represent the two solstices, and are the parallel lines, between which is the circle, with a point in the center, representing the sun. The circle also represents the deity, in the center of the universe, and the two columns, those erected by Enoch, to perpetuate the history of the times before the flood. This order has for its mission the avenging of an awful crime, not by the punishment of those that committed it, for they have long since gone before the judge of all mankind. Their bones have molded into a little dust, and many of their memories are forgotten, but by the destruction of that of which those men were but the miserable instruments, of arbitrary and irresponsible power, of tyranny over the conscience, of bigotry and intolerance, and by the establishment everywhere of well-ordered liberty. Already this order was by its silent influences aided in working out great results, and still it labors, earnestly and steadfastly towards the great end, hostile at first to persons, to a particular dynasty, to a corrupt order, and a pontifical usurpation of temporal power. It now pursues with a foot that never tires, and an eye that never sleeps, the personifications of the three assassins, and so labors for the good of mankind. Thus we hope to arrive at true perfection, symbolized by the precious treasure found in the ruins of the Temple of Enoch, and to place which beyond the power of the infidel and barbarian, the grand, elect, perfect and sublime Masons boldly risked their lives at the destruction of the temple built by Solomon. Take now this sacred treasure, the cubical stone hidden deep in the earth by Enoch the patriarch, and return with it whence ye came, three zealous brethren, who, as Adonhiram, Jobit and Stolkin did before them, have descended through the 9 arches, into the subterranean vault, hewn in the solid rock, and have brought thence the cubical atone, that deposited by Enoch the patriarch. Behold, my brethren, the ineffable name of deity, engraved by Enoch, and discovered by the 3 first masons, of the royal arch. My brethren, you having, like the 3 illustrious masters who first received this degree, descended through the 9 arches, into the subterranean vault hewn in the solid rock, and brought thence the ineffable name deposited there by Enoch the patriarch, the brethren consent that you shall be advanced to be masons of the royal archicosize. But to be received among us, it is necessary that you first assume a solemn and binding obligation. Are you prepared to do so? The Freemason, the patriarch Enoch, who founded the order, and built temples and hidden vaults underground, following the sun, as does the whole family line to this day, who are Jehovah. Again you read modern books and you read, there, not allowed to know version. So, are you still agreeing that Enoch should not be in the Bible? Well, of course not, yet, your curiosity brought you here, and now you no longer follow Enoch. Good man,